Chapter 9. Every alchemist, Kabbalist, and psychologist should have faith. Faith is not empirical. We have to fabricate it. It is fabricated by studying oneself and experimenting with oneself. The mystery. The Dharmapalas are the terrible lords of strength who have launched themselves against the materialistic aberrations of the Chinese communists. I will personally be in Tibet because great things are gestated in this sacred place. I will be helping the Tibetans to put an end to the traces of abominations that the Chinese have left. Shangri-La is in the fourth dimension and is a city in the Jinn state. The venerable master Kuthumi is found there. Tibet is very similar to Egypt, and the monks do not ignore the works of mummification. In the past, the Tibetan monks carried their mummies to the volcanic craters where the mockeries are found. I do not have any type of fear to affirm that I am a Tibetan Lama. You may ask yourselves how it is that I am here and there. This is possible by means of the gift of ubiquity. Yes, momentarily, I am in the valley of Adi Tattva, and at the same time here in Mexico. In this valley, sacred processions are carried out. The monastery is on the right side of the valley. Before, the monastery used to be in the third dimension. Now it is submerged in the fourth vertical. In its interior, the building has large halls where objective works are carried out. As a Lama, I have a small workroom. The Dharmapalas meet in the monastery's patio. The order is formed by 201 members. The superior staff is constituted by 72 Brahmins. This order is the one that governs the destinies of humanity. Tibet has always been invaded by the English and Chinese, but they have always had to leave due to the terrible power of the Dharmapalas. The Avatar. Avatars cannot forget the social matter. That is why Quetzalcoatl manifested himself in two aspects, the social and the psychological. In my case, I have been concerned with these two aspects, human problems oriented to be solved by means of the revolution of consciousness in a dialectical manner, and the problems of capital and labor directed towards being solved by means of LACSP, Poscla in Spanish. Experience. They gave him a lance which represented problems. They made him enter a secret sanctuary, and he found the patriarch St. Augustine in that sanctuary. The patriarch took a voluminous book from the bookcase and told him, "I will teach you a mantram to make the fire blaze." He opened the book, he lit a brazier, he pronounced the mantram M, and the fire blazed. When he came out, he learned to sing the mantram to make the fire blaze. St. Augustine, the patriarch, returned before the altar of the temple, dressed with the priestly robes, and Master Samael also. They placed a frying pan in their right hand, as though saying, "You have the frying pan held by the handle." They made a great chain. "We will accompany you forming all this great struggle." In this manner, the White Brotherhood accompanies him. Unfortunately, the little Gnostic brothers have not studied. They have not lived my teaching, which I have delivered during so many years, to provide them with psychological liberation, and they have themselves wanted to sabotage the great work of the White Brotherhood. On delivering the keys of revolutionary psychology and LACSP, Poscla in Spanish, we do not want to climb to positions nor live from the national budget. The only thing we want is to be useful to humanity, to serve by giving psychological norms which I myself have experienced in order for the intellectual animal to achieve integral revolution. The mission of an avatar is not only a religious matter, but it also encompasses the political and psychological matters of nations. The individual and society. Society is the extension of the individual. If the individual is covetous, cruel, pitiless, egotistical, etc., so will society be. It is necessary to be sincere with oneself. Each of us is degenerate, and therefore society has to be inevitably degenerate. This cannot be resolved by the terrible monster of materialism. This can only be resolved by the individual on the basis of his integral revolution. The hour to reflect on our own destiny has arrived. Violence does not resolve anything. Violence can only lead us to failure. We need peace, serenity, reflection, comprehension. The problem of the world is the problem of the individual. Bloody revolutions do not resolve anything. It is only through intelligence that we will resolve the problem of the bottling up of consciousness. It is only by means of intelligence that we can convert the intellectual animal first into a man and then into a superman. It is only with the revolution of the dialectic that we can overcome the terrible monster of materialism. Human society is the extension of the individual. If we really want a radical change, if we want a better world, we need to change individually, to change within ourselves, to alter within our own individuality the abominable factors which produce misery and pain in the world. Let us remember that the mass is a sum of individuals. If each individual changes, the mass will inevitably change. It is urgent to put an end to egotism and cultivate Christ-centrism. It is only in this manner that we can make a better world. It is indispensable to eliminate covetousness and the cruelty that each of us carries within. It is only in this manner, by each individual changing, that society will change, because the latter is merely the extension of the individual. There is pain, there is hunger, confusion, but none of this can be eliminated through the absurd procedures of violence. Those who want to transform the world on the basis of revolutions of blood and liquor, or with coups d'état and executions by shootings, are totally mistaken, because violence engenders more violence, and hatred more hatred. We need peace if we want to resolve the problems of humanity. Darkness is not dissolved with blows and with atheism, but rather by bringing the light. Neither is the error gotten rid of by fighting it face to face, but rather by disseminating the truth without having to attack the error. However much the truth advances, that much will the error have to step back. One does not have to resist what is negative, but instead practice the positive unconditionally and teach its advantages through practice. By attacking the error, we will provoke the hatred of those who err. What we need is to disseminate the light of the revolution of the dialectic in order to dissipate the darkness. It is urgent to analyze the fundamental principles of the Marxist dialectic and to demonstrate to the world the tremendous reality that these do not withstand an in-depth analysis, and that they are pure, cheap sophistry. Let us make light if we want to overcome the darkness. Let us not spill blood. The hour of being comprehensive has arrived. It is necessary to study our own eye if we really love our fellow men. It is indispensable to comprehend that it is only by putting an end to the factors of egotism and cruelty that each of us carries within that we can create a better world, a world without hunger and fear. Society is the individual. The world is the individual. If the individual fundamentally changes, the world will inevitably change. Consciousness is in serious danger, and it is only by radically transforming ourselves as individuals that we can save ourselves and save humanity. To the consciousness. Sleeping consciousness. How different you would be if you were to awaken. You would know the 7 paths of happiness. The light of your love would shine everywhere. The birds would rejoice within the mystery of your forests. The light of the Spirit would shine, and, happy, the elementals would sing for you in chorus. Enlightenment. In order, practice the teachings of the revolution of the dialectic. Begin your integral revolution from this moment. Dedicate time to the oneself. Because in this state, as alive as you are, with that tremendous I within, you are a failure. I want you to resolve to radically die in all the levels of the mind. Many complain that they cannot travel in the astral world at will. When one awakens consciousness, astral travel ceases to be a problem. The asleep are not good for anything. In this work of the revolution of the dialectic, I have delivered the science that is needed to achieve the awakening of consciousness. Do not commit the error of reading this book like someone who reads a newspaper. Study it profoundly during many years. Live it. Take it into practice. To those who complain of not having achieved enlightenment, I advise patience and serenity. Enlightenment comes to us when we dissolve the pluralized I, when we have truly died in the 49 levels of the subconscious. Those who go around coveting occult powers, those who utilize sex yoga as a pretext to seduce women, are totally mistaken and march in an opposite direction of that of the goals and disciplines that universal Gnosticism establishes. Work in the 3 factors of the revolution of consciousness in an orderly and perfect manner. Do not commit the error of committing adultery and fornication. Abandon being like a butterfly. Those who live like butterflies going from flower to flower, from school to school, are in reality sure candidates for the abyss and the second death. Abandon self-justification and self-consideration. Become enemies of yourselves if you really want to radically die. It is only in this manner that you will achieve enlightenment. Depart from radical zero. Abandon mystical pride, megalomania, the tendency to consider yourselves super-transcended. All of you are merely intellectual animals condemned to the pain of living. It becomes urgent and undelayable that you make an inventory of yourselves in order for you to know what you really are. Be humbled to attain enlightenment, and after having attained it, be more humble yet. Samael Aun Weor.